right. Well, here we are again. Happy to be here. And today we're going to have the joy of being with Lisa Pavati, who's a transformational catalyst. And she's creating positive change in the world. She's the founder of the Sustainable Living Guide and the Eco-Conscious Music Alliance. So your passion is growing a thriving world. And we're excited to have this time with you, Lisa. And I'm going to add you here and say that from what I understand about the Sustainable Living Guide, it's this innovative eco hub that has online classes and experts on the whole idea of regenerative sustainability and personal community at planetary levels, at all levels. And you're also involved with this Eco-Conscious Music Alliance that is using music to grow, again, sustainability through action hubs and different projects to help folks. And I've been a fan, Lisa, and I'm curious to learn from you. What is the change you want to make in the world? And we're so happy to have you here to present what you're up to. You're doing these things with such love and devotion and commitment. Grateful, like so many of us, for you and your efforts. And this is a chance to understand better. Tell us what is driving Lisa and what is the change you want to make in the world and how you want to use this time with sharing yourself with the world. Grateful to have you here.
Oh, thank you, John. I am just so honored to be here with you. I want to extend my deep appreciation to you and the Sign Network, to Unity Earth and World Unity Week, and especially to Ben Bowler for and the whole team for the incredible convergence of elevation and innovation and action that this event is. And I'm in so much alignment with the let's do something theme. That's very much what our focus is about, love in action, whether it's through online classes with leading experts from around the world to creating community sustainability hubs with EMA, with the Eco-Conscious Music Alliance. And today I'm really delighted and honored to be sharing an activation session for personal and planetary change making to be growing a thriving world for all. And we will be sharing meditation. We will be sharing concepts and innovation of a design system that we're working with on trauma-informed change making, how we come back into unity, one powerful way to come back into unity together and be implementing strategic systems for change making in whatever sector we're working in, whether it's a business or an organization, parenting, in our own wellness, how we grow that thriving world for all, connecting deep within and through all of us. And I'm actually going to invite people to be opening with a brief meditation with me in just a moment. I will also invite everyone to have water and a way to write during this session, because the vision that you'll be experiencing from within yourself as well is something that I want to make sure that you're supported in carrying with you and being able to remember and recall and work with. So as we begin, I'll invite you to find a comfortable position. You might roll your shoulders back or even move a little bit, letting your spine straighten and feeling your feet, your base connected with the earth. You might stretch up your spine, feeling it gently held up. And I'll invite us to begin with deep, full breaths. Breathing in all the way and breathing out fully, slow. And as we breathe in, we breathe a sense of vitality and radiance. And I'll invite us to envision ourselves in a beautiful flowering mountain meadow where the air is sweet and lush with life. We breathe in this enlivened air, this breath of life that we share with all of the earth. And with each breath, we are enlivened, we are illuminated, we are activated. And as this breath flows through our whole being, and we stand or walk or dance or lay amongst these beautiful flowers in this meadow in the sunshine, we can feel the warming radiance of the golden sun awakening the essence within us, within the flowers around us, within the plants and the earth, activating the fire and passion within us, our creative spark. And this beautiful light, it shines as we hear the trickle of water in a mountain creek. And we can see the sun sparkling on this beautiful, clear water that pours forth from the mountain itself, singing life into creation. And this water flows through our bodies. With every heartbeat, we connect more and more with these waters of the world, this wellspring of well-being, this transformational essence that we are made of, and allowing that replenishment to flow deeply right here, right now within us and all of the earth. And as this water flows through the creek, it seeps into the earth, nourishing the plant's roots, nourishing our roots. And we bring our attention into the soil, into the earth, into the rock and stone, into the fertile soil and earth, this deep earth. And we let our roots run deep, feeling the strength and groundedness of the living earth, deeper into the wellness and wisdom of the living earth, connecting with this source of life force on the planet, connecting in the center of the earth where we can recognize all of creation as one, vibrant, ancient and ever new. In this heart of the earth, we draw up with our breath this earth energy like sap rising. It might look green and bright. It might feel warm and welcoming, familiar and nourishing as it flows up through our being, our body, mind, heart, and spirit, our one being of this living earth that we are. And in this state of union, we find ourselves whole. We find ourselves home, activated with the essence of creation. And with our attention to this connection, the activation increases, exponentially brightening, exponentially strengthening, awakening the potency within us, our innate state of co-creation, of love in action, of harmony, balance, beauty, and brightness. And we remember ourselves as the living earth, giving voice in all of our unique ways to bringing forth a thriving world for all, giving action in our unique ways, each one of us as part of the earth, bringing forth a thriving world for all. And as we come into this moment here and now in our full essence, aware and activated, present, we recognize ourselves and each other as the change that we wanted to see in the world we already are embodying together. I welcome you and thank you for being part of this moment together on this session, and for embodying the uniqueness of yourself. Your presence is so powerful on the earth right now. There is a profound purpose for your presence on the planet, each of you, each of us. And we honor you and we thank you. What a joy it is to come together. I want to invite us to come into our awareness of what this pivotal moment on the planet means for us. We sit at this time of great changes, great challenges, and great opportunity to bring forth a new way of being, ancient and innovative, inspired and co-creative. We recognize that within our own hearts, the seeds of sustainability, of thriving well-being are already growing. And for so many of us in our actions, in our organizations, in our efforts in the world, I want to really acknowledge the vision and work that every single one of us has done to be in this moment together. And how powerful to be together in this pivotal moment in the Earth's history, in our evolutionary history. I want to recognize that it's within us, it's innate within us to live in balance with each other and the earth. The vast majority of our ancestral lineage, no matter who we are, no matter what we look like, our ancestry, indigenous to the earth. We are indigenous to the earth. We are the earth. And the vast majority of our ancestry were tribal in their orientation and how they lived, living in balance with each other and the earth, enough so that we could survive to this moment to be able to consider this. And as we face to the future, recognizing that the future generations are depending on us to bring our love into action and move through the potency and challenges of this time to envision a new way of doing things together. I want to bring our attention to what sustainable living is. I run the Sustainable Living Guide, which is an online hub featuring classes with authors and experts from all over the world and community building change-making projects. But what is sustainable living? Well, sustain means to nourish, to nourish. Sustainability is inherently regenerative. It is not keeping things the same. It is a positive momentum that brings us into greater wellness. And we define sustainability as regenerative holism. Regenerative holism. It is intersectional and it is beyond intersectional. It's the space between all the intersections of our environmental well-being, social well-being, personal well-being, all the many, many issues, the mandala of issues. And in the center of that, if we expand that space out and step into the center of that, we come together as one, we reunite in the holistic essence of our one being. And I'm so honored to be part of World Unity Week as we come deeper in as conscious co-creators in a state of unity together. I want to share with you a teaching from my beloved elder, David West, Potawatomi Wisdom Keeper. And he had offered this to be shared on this presentation. We want to invite you, us, one, to recognize deeper and deeper in each moment that unity is also diversity. And in the Sustainable Living Guide, our diversity, equity, and unity, we use the word unity instead of inclusion because inclusion implies that someone is the gatekeeper able to keep others out, and we truly want to be in circle. So we use the terminology DEU, diversity, equity, and unity. And our DEU practices and protocols are baked into everything that we're doing, as I'm sure is the case with so many of us. Why is this so important and why is this so natural? Well, we're already deeply embedded in a diverse organism of the living earth. And we invite you to take a moment to envision before you what that natural world looks like. If you were to look out, if you're inside, if you were to look out beyond your house, if you're outdoors and you're looking out to the plants, to the animals, to the creatures in the soil, to the creatures in the air itself, the water that's flowing through all of us, and how broad and diverse that is. And I invite you in your mind's eye or in your body to turn your attention and walking in a circle, looking in a circle and feeling into, becoming aware of the great diversity of life. And you can let your awareness go out well beyond what you can see, looking all the way around the world, this one world that we are part of, and back into this moment, and right here and right now. We are already part of a diverse, harmonious organism. And it's our responsibility and opportunity to come in and support the wellness of that diversity as part of our unity, because there we find ourselves again and again whole. When we come into that state of unity, honoring our differences, we still find that what we have in common is even greater. When we think about gathering with all different people from all different backgrounds, working together to create positive change in the world, no matter who we are, no matter where our political or religious or life experience orientations might be, we all truly want the same things at the core. We want to be well and happy. We want others to be well and happy, and our children and their children. We feel the joy of nature. It moves us deeply. Whether that's the redwood forest, the garden behind your house, the sun shining in the morning, or the sunset on the ocean, whatever those most cherished places are for you. Nature comes alive within us, and we're united in this place. I want to invite us to feel into the rising of our unity at this moment. It is not a coincidence. It is essential. It is not a coincidence. It is intentional. We are coming together to co-create a thriving world for all. And I'm going to be guiding us into a brief visualization and meditation to help us access our ability to innovate positive solutions. Now, we're all aware already of the challenges that we face. We are in the midst of climate crisis. We are on the edge, hopefully the outer edge of the pandemic. We are facing the challenges together. And if this year brought us into greater awareness, it brought us into greater awareness that what we do affects each other, and we are truly all in this together. And the solutions for the challenges of this time and the seeds for a flourishing future are really strong within us. They are coming alive within us. We've been given this opportunity to take a beat together, to reprioritize, and to come out different as individuals, as communities, and as a global family. And that means being able to vision, to envision, to imagine, to create positive change from a perspective that is outside of the confines of our current situation and draws from the collective genius of our one being. And I want to invite us to take a moment to go deeper into that. I'll invite you to get comfortable, and we will be going into our second short meditation. Breathing in all the way, pure essence of life, and breathing out, this essence flows through us, bright and beautiful, strong and strengthening, clear, compassionate, and radiant. I invite us to envision in our mind's eye, in our heart's power, what does a thriving world for all look like to you? We envision ourselves at a time of thriving wellness in our world. Notice what you see. What are the sights that surround you? What you hear. What are the voices? What are the people saying? What is nature expressing? What is the voice inside you sharing? What do you feel in this space? How does your world feel to you? What changes in your body as you experience this feeling of thriving? What does it look like? How does this affect you? How does this affect others, all others, people and planet? What do you believe? What do you know and value from living in this time of thriving? And I'll invite us to envision that we were born into this thriving time. And what changes in our perspective now? What do we believe is possible? Letting the sense of thriving well-being flow powerfully through each cell in our body, through the mind, through the heart, through the essence. And from this thriving world, this thriving time in the world, we envision the next state of thriving. If we were born into, as we are born into the thriving world, and this is our normal, what is our vision now to grow into a more thriving world for all, that our baseline is already in wellness? What do we envision now? What do we believe is possible? What do we know about bringing it forth? What are the actions that we take to bring it forth? What has changed? How have we changed individually, as community, as global family? How does that feel? deep within and all around us as we leap together into a thriving future. And what wisdom is there to speak to you, to us, to bring back? And once again, envisioning that we are born into this next level of thriving wellness in our world, that this is normal for us. This is now our baseline. And as innately generative, positive, catalyzing beings that we are, we envision our growth. We envision the next phase of thriving wellness in ourselves and in our world as we evolve together, as we take action together, as we create cultural shift and practices that embody a high level of conscious co-creation and thriving well-being. As we envision into this next phase, what do you see? What does the world look like? How have the systems changed? What's different? What's blossoming? What's new and blooming? Notice the people. What are their lives like? Notice yourself. How are you showing up? Living your purpose. Fully supported and sustained as you support and nourish others. And taking a few breaths into that space, gathering wisdom, gathering strength, gathering this high-level unity. Hold in your mind, hold in your hands the wisdom, power, and abilities, the knowledge, skills, and ideas from this time, this thriving time. And we're going to start breathing back into this present moment here and now. I'll invite you to put a hand on your solar plexus, a hand on your heart, and taking deep breaths, activating our presence here and now and bringing with us the deep awareness of all of these learnings. We come into the now with knowledge that's new, innovation, emerging, inspiration, igniting, compassion in its full blossoming power. And we bring our love into action together. I'll invite you when you're ready to slowly open eyes. You might look at your hands, noticing where you are in time and space, right here, right now, fully potent. And I'll invite us to take a moment to write down some of what you learned. What is the change? How do we get there? What are the steps for you as an individual to be walking on your path as part of this co-creative emergence, cultural emergence together? As you take steps on your path, what will the things you're doing first be? And after that, what do you need to learn to help you do that? What kind of study, knowledge, sharing will help you, support you to fully embodying this positive change? I invite you to write some notes down that you can refer to. And that might be an image. That might be poetic. That might be a list. That might be your thoughts in any form you like. but to bring them down into the physical plane by putting them on paper or typing, however you prefer. We're going to be talking next about how we implement positive change. And I'm so grateful and honored to be able to share with you from this collective visionary space where we envision not only what we currently think is possible, we envision many steps beyond that, and we draw from that space. We lift ourselves up into that next, and several steps, next thriving world, that new paradigm, that new shift. And we're bringing that in here right now. So I'm going to be speaking a little bit on a design system that we have developed at Sustainable Living Guide and myself to help us bring forth strategies for envisioning and implementing a thriving world for all. This is the trauma-informed change-making design system. We've implemented this in the design of our classes, and we'll be teaching not only how to use this system in activism, in business, in personal well-being, but also in media art, social media, change-making campaigns, social change, environmental activism, climate action. And I'm really excited to give you a little preview of some of these principles that you can use right now in your life. You'll recognize yourself in these principles. We're already working with them, and this system really gives us a space to see, to bring a synergy to these concepts that so many of us work with and be able to implement them strategically, even down to the details of graphic design and how we express ourselves in our meetings, in our world, in our life, how we co-create, which is beyond collaboration, truly being in flow state together. What does that look like? What does that mean? How do we get there? So trauma-informed change-making starts by recognizing our unity, our innate state of oneness, which we know deeply, it's home. And if we look back through human history, through human evolution, like we talked about at the beginning of this session, the vast majority of our ancestral experience was in conscious, innate, natural flow with the oneness that we are, respecting the earth, respecting life, and being part of that life force without separation. And then, as we know, as our various mythologies and stories and memories describe in different ways, there was a point in our human history where we, our collective we, started to lose our awareness of some of that connection. Did we lose our connection with oneness? No, it's what we are. But we started to lose our understanding and our awareness, our experience of it. And for beings who are naturally one, that is very uncomfortable, perhaps scary, disorienting, confusing. And we can imagine that in those moments, we, as our collective we, were reaching out for connection. We were used to connection. We are beings of connection. And perhaps in that reaching for connection, and I invite you to join us in the what if space. What if, in that illusion of separation, as we sought out connection, we discovered our collective we, power over rather than power with, as a way of relating to each other. And from this imbalanced state, grew up the systems of oppression that have wreaked havoc on our environmental well-being, on the planet, on the people, marginalized and oppressed our fellow humans all over the world, created generations of trauma in humans, in the land, in the waters. And yet, we still yearn for that wholeness. We still remember that wholeness, and that wholeness comes alive in us as we come back to consciously healing that wound, because the same wound that is in the polluted waters, that is in our social justice, broken social justice system, that is in the heart of the child who's been abused, that is in systems of education that have broken down, that are in institutionalized racism and embedded white supremacy, and the legacy of colonialism, which is where the climate crisis comes from, that these have the same root, and that root is our illusion of separation. And as we come back into our unity, we reunite with the potency to heal this one wound that we are all experiencing in different ways. And I'm going to talk about some of the design principles, just the tip of the iceberg for this system, for creating that shift. And the first has to do with power. When we move away from hierarchical power, from power over, and back to power with, we come back into unity and activate the potency within us. What do we mean by power with? Power with self, that the locus of control for my life and my actions is within me. Power with others, that we can co-create together. And in that, we have exponential impact, exponential inspiration, and the ability to co-create catalyzes each of us individually and catalyzes us as a whole. And power with the earth, or power with the sacred, that window where essence comes through. When we are working as conscious co-creators with the living earth, as part of the living earth, we are already restoring wellness within and all around us, and we grow that thriving world from there. Can you feel that inside yourself? Power with. We are together in our innate state of power, of potency, of activation. I want to invite us to consider that in that state of power, we have choice. We choose our words, we choose our actions, we choose our thoughts. And in that choice, that is a reinforcement of our power, because we are using our power. It's an experience of our power, and that's self-reinforcing to coming into deeper connection with it as we do that consciously. When we move into creativity, we're now not just deciding between 2 points. Is it a yes or a no? We have this rainbow of decisions in front of us, and we're moving through it. Each moment, each inspired pivot point in our inspiration and a creative process brings us into a very heightened state of awareness, of actualization of our power, because we're coming now into a flow state where that essence energy is coming through. And how transformative that is. We each know inside ourselves, whether it was in a moment of dance or music or writing or cooking or loving or living, there's this place where creativity comes alive inside us, and we become what we truly are. When we come together in this space of creativity, of activated conscious choice and inspiration. We're moving as a community into a flow state, into a state that helps us evolve far beyond the limits and constraints of our current perceptions and opens us to what's possible. And power into clear vision. That intention literally harnesses our energy and channels it towards what we're creating. So our words matter, our actions matter, our power is growing as we use this space consciously, because we can create the changes that are needed for our world. We can do this. In our lifetime, we can do this. And breathe into that knowing. Breathe into that knowing. As we come deeper into connection, we recognize that the way to transform is not in isolation, but in connection. We each have a powerful role. And when we bring those together in unity with each other, in unity with the earth, we are beginning to generate this momentum that propels us forward, that helps us evolve personally and in community to be ready for this new paradigm that we're birthing together. I want to reflect that safety must be attended to at this time and always, caring for the most vulnerable among us, caring with respect and support for all of life, creating safe spaces for people to share, be nurtured, be heard. This has to be done together for us to grow. The equity aspects of this growth towards a thriving world for all really need to be paid huge attention to. As we spoke about a few moments ago, the state of the world right now is a result of colonialism. The wounds that we're feeling in ourselves, in our lives, in our earths, in our community, and so many of our global family experiencing them in acute ways. Community of color have been atrociously affected by this illusion of separation by those in power, which means that we have to come together and find ways to correct, to heal, to mend, to grow, to listen, to learn, and to uphold BIPOC community with focus, diligence, and dignity. As we breathe into that, we find ourselves again in union, in our bodies, in the body of the earth. And I want to speak to love in action. Love in action is the moment where we embody the change we want to see in the world, where our visions and our intentions, our energy and our potency comes into fruition and affects the physical plane, affects each other, affects our lives. What does love in action mean? It means that we have the opportunity to pour forth with the depth and brightness of our purest hearts, our deepest hearts, our most loving hearts, that love essence, that potency of life that lives within us, that arises within us, that we bring that fountain of love into every action, whether it's caring for ourselves, each other, and the living earth. We start to embody and radiate love in action. And that catalyzes the positive change for a thriving world for all. That love has to be at the center. When we talk about ourselves and we say, I, our hand goes to the heart. I am. We go to the heart. This is where it begins. And appreciation and honor. In many Turtle Island indigenous traditions, thanks is expressed as returning thanks to the earth. When we're talking about our gratitude for the earth, it's expressed as we return thanks. This is an action. Gratitude is an action. Gratitude is an action of caring. Gratitude is love in action. And how we honor and uphold each other and the living earth brings that circle whole, coming back into our unity. And I invite you to breathe into that wholeness, that unity, that honor and gratitude for this moment, for this life, for the ability to be part of the change in the world, and what that is for you as an individual, and what that means for how you show up in community. I'm very honored to be able to share with you voices from the Sustainable Living Guide teachers who are speaking to this growing a thriving world for all. And I invite you to enjoy this short transformational video of the voices of some of our community members. And when we come back together after the video, we will be doing some water ceremony. So I invite you to enjoy this video and have water with you, because we're going to do a water honoring as we close out. And I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. And I am hoping my tech support can help me make sure this is running.
It's running.
Thank you. Together, we're catalyzing our ability to move through this pivotal moment on Earth with healing, heart, and innovative brilliance. The wellness of the world is rising deep within our hearts. We feel the call of the living Earth that we are all part of.
You've got to have that water to survive. And so guard your water, take good care of it, and talk to it. Because I got this little thing that says water can hear. So remind yourself of that as you journey through life.
We unite and come together to grow a thriving world for all.
I believe that the essence of who I am is embedded in the majesty of my community. I love living my Ubuntu in my community. Ubuntu means I am because we are, or we are because I am.
The reality is that we're all in community already, whether we acknowledge it consciously or we think about it or not.
To be part of the community is very crucial for our happiness, our belonging on this planet.
The Sustainable Living Guide has brought together leading experts, authors, indigenous elders, change makers from around the world to help guide our global family through this time of challenge and into a flourishing future.
And so the class is about helping people understand what really is a community, what's the purpose of community, what makes a random collection of people an actual community, and how to cultivate it and build the kinds of relationships that are very nourishing, that allow us for transformation either on the individual level or at the large scale social level.
And so I'm going to be teaching a class on building an oven for this class called the Akabi oven, which is a mixture of adobe and cob together.
I'm so delighted to be offering a course on that's coming soon called Regenerative Magnificence.
I want to provide you with inspiration, motivation, resources, and support for navigating our planetary rite of passage.
Transformative learning is all about that emotional, spiritual shift. When the way we used to understand the way the world worked suddenly shifts, and we start to see things very differently. And that affects our behavior, and that affects our relationships.
We've been charged with being stewards and caretakers of the Mother Earth in respect to all our relations and to each thing that lives on the earth, above the earth, below the earth. In all these things, I ask for your help in listening to each other, in loving each other, and in helping us build a network that it strengthens and encourages our young people and finds a way for us to live in balanced and harmonious relationship with all that is.
My job is to help them uncover and discover who they really are. And that is a different mindset. That is where you can look out and say, how do I communicate with this person? I'm looking forward to you signing up for my class.
Let's use today as an opportunity to rediscover our potential as stewards and caretakers of the environments and the communities that we're all a part of.
Join us.
Join us. Together.
Together.
Together,
We can grow.
a thriving world
For all.
Thank you so much to all of our amazing teachers. We're so honored to be hosting over 50 teachers from all over the world who are working with our team to co-create really unique transformational classes that help us grow into ourselves and grow into this thriving world for all that we are co-creating together. And as you saw on the video, our classes are opening this summer. We're doing, in support of World Unity Week, we're doing a membership offer that is a fraction of what it would normally be. I want to make sure that we're being really inclusive always. So we also always have scholarships, and 5 to 20% of everything we do with Sustainable Living Guide goes directly to fund community sustainability projects around the world, because we're activists first. We see education as a form of activism, and we know that as we bring our global wisdom together, it's going to take this weaving from around the world, creating this tapestry of knowledge and wisdom that really paints the picture for a thriving world for all. And it's going to come from all parts of the planet, and the reunion of our human family together with each other, with ourselves, and with the earth. And with that, I'm going to invite you to have some water together and to take a moment to hold your water. To take a moment to truly hold this beloved water. And you can feel your fingers, the slight pulse, the heartbeat of yourself as we hold this water together. And we recognize that the waters of the world are one body of water. Scientifically, there is no separation. There is one body of water. It's flowing through us. The oceans, the rivers, the rains, the ancient ones, the future generations that we're holding in our hands together. And with every heartbeat, this water of the world flows through our loving hearts, activating the love in the water, being activated by the water and that life force growing in us. I want to invite us to hold this water in our hands and our hearts with love and gratitude. This body of water that we are, the thriving world that we are, begins right here and right now as we reunite with the living waters of the world, as we bring that love into action in our lives. And I invite you, as you drink, to envision this well-being, this love flowing through all the waters of the world and illuminating in each of them, in each person, in each place. In our breath, there is water. In the air, there is water. In the soil, there is water. In all life, this water flows and we reunite in love. May you be deeply nourished now and always. We invite you to come and connect with us at Sustainable Living Guide. Our website, sustainablelivingguide.org. I'm Lisa Pavati. I'm so grateful to be able to have been with you today, to be with you in community as we grow a thriving world for all. Please feel free to reach out. We love collaboration. We love co-creation. We love to work with other organizations, with teachers, with activists and change makers. We have so many ways to be of support to you. Our nonprofit is the Eco-Conscious Music Alliance, which brings people together through music and helps us to create community sustainability projects all over the world. Sustainable Living Guide has created a series of trainings for community mutual aid classes. We've created a climate toolkit to help answer the question, what can I as one person do to make a difference? How do I start myself? How do I grow it in community? And we have over 50 action tools, something you can download, you can work with, you can use again and again to really make a change. And dozens of classes from gardening to natural building, community building, to becoming ourselves and stepping into our magnificence together. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much to World Unity Week and our amazing community around the planet. I hope you continue to enjoy and deepen with all of the amazing sessions that are going on, and blessings to all. Thank you.
Fabulous. Thank you, Lisa. Beautiful. Wow. A lot of good happening in the world. Thanks to you for the dedication and devotion it takes to make all this happen. And I do want to tell folks about what's happening here. It is an incredible experience. We're starting to occupy this one world. And I want to let people know how they can actually visit One World if they don't know. So I'm going to share my screen here. And actually, I'm going to show up here at first on your profile on Weaver, which is one of the places that people are engaging in One World. But the website, which you just see the live stream we had there, also has a little link to a page called One World. And what you're going to see here is how you navigate through One World. So we made it a map so you can mouse over, and it tells you what each of these different places or spaces, as we call them, inside of One World. Now, before I click on those, you can also go down here to get to all the rooms that are in One World. So for instance, if you go to the cultural hotspot, I could click on it here or up above in the map. It's over here, the cultural hotspot. I click there. It takes me down to the section on this page that tells me about the convergence rooms, as well as the sparkle rooms and the sparkle verse. So you can experience One World in 2 dimensions. And if I click on, for instance, the art and music room, which I bet you, Lisa, you've been involved with, I'll be able to see the board that has the schedule of all the things that are happening in here. And this is part of the way we make things happen here. Each one of these squares are we call cards. And a card tells you the information about an event that's happening. Janice Stanfield in concert, as an example. And I got here because, if you remember, I was here in One World. And inside of One World, I simply clicked on every one of these is another room and board. So I say, hey, what's going on with the gifts of the Magi? I can click there and bring up that schedule of all the things happening there. And it's Friday here, like it is in other places. And there's amazing opportunities to engage. That's what we're trying to do here. It's not just sages on stages, but actually get people into these rooms together. In fact, for me, in a lot of ways, it's getting real in the virtual. It's funny that the virtual world has become such an amazing connector of people all over the world. The scale of it alone is tremendous. There are rooms here where people are engaging in work of the Amazon. What's happening today is Amazon World, an Amazon Day in the Global Fire Ceremony Room. Now, how do I know that? Let me show you. If I click every one of these room boards, has this little card here. And in here I can get to what we call the board of boards. It's another way to just see all the things that are happening in one world. And there's a global fire ceremony room. And inside there I can go and see what's happening there. And in the global fire ceremony room today is this focus on the Amazon. Look at these programs here. There's this tremendous experience of lighting this fire in the Amazon with the Collectiva Awana, and the work that's going on to deal with this incredible injustice that's been done just recently. And that's the thing. We sent 6 drones down to the Amazon, and we're using these technologies to make us more aware than we've ever been about what's going on. The sheer scale of the fact that half the planet is on social media is a tremendous opportunity. It's also a tremendous risk. You know, I learned the other day that the loneliest population in America, when they look at the demographics, 18 to 22-year-olds. The loneliest. What does that mean? Well, we heard from the folks like at University of Southern California who are bringing in the students to school, and the students are now showing up with different questions. Social media is like a poison. It's led to a sense of worthlessness as you look at everyone's curated lives on Instagram and Facebook and wonder, hey, why isn't my life like that? And then there's the spiritual void that's happening. People are just moving away from churches and synagogues and mosques and congregations. So these dilemmas are presenting us with enormous opportunity to connect. We are really occupying the systems that are being put forward, these social media systems, because of the desire for profit, and actually beginning to use them for really good purposes, like what we're doing here all week. So in some crazy way, the poison that's happening is actually also our opportunity, and young people know that. One woman told the story about when these kids get together for dinner now, everyone puts their phone in the middle of the table, and the first one who touches it has to pay for the meal. These kids are showing up wondering how to make friends. We have all these friends on social media that aren't real friends. So getting real in the virtual, being vulnerable. They say authenticity grants authority. And experiencing this new medium and discovering how we actually take time to be with each other and experience each other in new and creative ways, to attune to each other. The fact that we're connected is just the start. This isn't just about articulating and projecting our identities like images. This is about going beyond the surface to really begin to be real with each other. And some of that requires new skills and new practices. In fact, I want to see if I could show you something. One of the things that's amazing during our time here together is we've been able to take experiences, specifically around music and spoken word. I don't know if you've seen some of these interstitials, but they've just been amazing. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to set one up and share it with you. So Sarah McCrum and Gary Malkin and Lewis Robert have put together. Now, it's not easy to share your screen on Zoom anymore, but I'm going to try. I'm going to share mine here. I want you to see, let's just take 2.5 minutes to drop in together with each other. So I'm going to start this. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to make sure I'm sharing it properly, which is the whole big issue with this stuff. It's not gotten any easier. So hold on. Let me make sure. Got the sound and the optimize. I'm going to hide the controls because you're going to see them on top. And I'm going to share my screen. So let's turn off the floating controls. That little thing in the middle is going to go away in a second. I'm going to 2 minutes.
Let's pause for a moment. Let's come into the present. And let's remind ourselves that we've never been here before. We don't have all the answers. We are right on the edge of the unknown. And so let's enter a space of humility, of curiosity, and of wondering. Let's listen deeply to ourselves and to each other. And let's bring our true selves into this conversation. The essence of who we are. Speaking, listening, on the edge of the unknown.
And how good is that? Just to take a few minutes and drop into a little bit of that nothing. Just a little bit of the wonder and realizing that here in this virtual world, we can bring in the sacred. We can get real in the virtual. And we're using this medium to connect at a level we've never been able to before. But we're not naive. We know that the algorithms have been engineered, whether those algorithms determine the friends that you are recommended or the news that gets fed. All that's done to motivate, is motivated by maximizing profit. So can we take and assert ourselves in this space and use it to do things that are inherently good for each other in the world? That's what we're demonstrating here. And that's a challenge. We're new, we're beginners. We have these tools now. We sent 6 drones to the Amazon so we could start to see the story down there. And it's not pretty. It's painful. But it's a privilege, an opportunity to serve at an unprecedented level. So this World Unity Week, there have been insights. I know it. We're all having it. And we're going to use the technology, a little Jamboard, if you will, to create a little insight wall. Things that you've witnessed, that you've written down that you don't want to forget. Let's share those with each other. Let's build the knowledge base of what this experience has meant, and then let's move forward with creative solutions. There's so many. I heard Paul Hawken the other day here on World Unity Week, and he was talking, he said that it's not our beliefs that shape our actions. It's our actions that shape our beliefs. So if we believe a better world is possible, it's time to act that way. And there's a really good way you could do that. I wanted to tell you some of the backstory about us here. So there's a fund that was set up. It's called Purpose Earth. And you talk about purity of intention and desire to contribute to the world. Manuel Kutzman and his wife Laura in Green Heart said, let's do something. And they gave us $50,000 to produce World Unity Week so it could be free to the world. And they've set up a fund in which 100% of the money that goes to Purpose Earth goes out to grantees. And some of the most inspiring grantees, and they're grassroots. They have a grantee and mentorship program that we want to empower. We want to show that we have enough collective power. How many people have thought of, boy, if everyone just chipped in $1, there's 7 billion people. Imagine how much if we all put in $1 a month it would mean. Well, this is an opportunity like that. So any money that was given back to World Unity Week is intended to go back to Purpose Earth, which is ensuring that 100% of what goes to them goes back. This is just one example of what we can do together to show that we really are better together. So go to purposeearth.org. There's so many inspiring examples of how those dollars have been used well. We want to encourage you to give back. We want to encourage you to become part of this network, however that means for you, because we know that trust is what's going to fuel this magic canoe. We are building a magic canoe to take us to one world, a new world. We're moving from a world that is no longer, it needed to change. This year has been an incredible disruption. It's affected everybody, and it's connected us like we've never been before. So we're somewhere between no longer and not yet. And let's demonstrate by our way of being with each other and with ourselves that in fact we can act in ways that demonstrate our beliefs that a new world is possible. And we can fund that change, and we can inspire those that are moving forward with the solutions we need, to let them know that we're here and we're behind what they're doing and we're supporting what they're doing. Right now, they're in a conversation with evolutionary leaders on reuniting the United States of America. But you know what? It's not going to happen through the mass media. That game is so broken. The economics of the way information is being, it's an infodemic that we're dealing with here. How could lies become the thing that so many people are finding out about? And you know, we were warned, grassroots isn't always good. We shouldn't poo-poo the institutions of the world. We need to find a new way of working together. Like Otter Sharma reported to us, that when you get to the real people, when you get to talk to people and they get real, the souls of people are the same. Whether they're high up in these institutions or in the bottom, in the grassroots, we all know we need to change. So it's my privilege and honor to be a voice at this moment for the conversation that we've started here in this one world. Come and play. We need everybody, all hands on deck. The way we say it, we're building a magic canoe that's moving between worlds. Lots of room. Everybody's welcome. Here to serve our journey home. All that we ask is that we paddle together. Let's come, let's sort it out, let's work it out. All right, I got a little bit of a closing piece here. I want to share with you a piece of music that's been fueling our magic canoe quite a bit. And if you haven't heard this before, I just want to leave with it. There's a Native Journey playlist on Spotify that has Yeha Noah. These are the wishes of happiness and prosperity. So I'm going to make it so that you have a chance to hear a little bit of that as we take a pause. All right. Here we go. Get ready for some Yeha Noah on our magic canoe.
I'm not no